There is a really great video on YouTube. It's a 5-minute video.
Okay.
It's called Dairy is Scary.
Dairy is
Scary.
scary. Okay.
It's by this amazing woman called Erin Janis. 5 minutes, and it tells you everything that you need to know. So we should actually watch it together.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you want to join us?
Would you like to join us?
I would love to.
Yeah, sure.
Dairy is scary.
Yes.
Yep.
Like other female mammals, cows only lactate, or produce milk, when they're pregnant or have a newborn to feed. So the dairy industry inseminates or impregnates cows starting at the age of around 12 months, and it's a rather routine process. You see, first the industry jacks off a bunch of bulls, simply a giant cow dildo that goes into the anus of the bull until he blows. And that semen is collected and then inserted into the vagina of a female cow with a long tube, usually while she's confined in what the industry calls a rape rack. And sometimes they put their fist right into the anus of the female cow, you know, to loosen the area.
What are you feeling for in there when it's a bit jumpy? I think I would be if someone did that to me.
So that in and out.
You must be responsible for a lot of calves.
Yes.
And when that baby cow is born, it's pretty much immediately taken away from its mother and locked in a crate. Because if it stayed around mom, it would drink her milk. And that shit's for us.
So they're taking away the cow is very...
And you see, a mother cow's bond with her young is very strong and affectionate. And she sometimes cries out for days in search of her baby. But nobody gives a shit. If the baby's a male, his throat is slit and he's sold for veal. And if it's a girl, she's raised to be a milk machine like mom. In Europe, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, up to 400,000 somatic cells are legally allowed in every milliliter of cow's milk. And in the United States, 750,000 somatic cells per milliliter. In Brazil, 1 million. And somatic cells, most of which in this case are white blood cells, the same thing that erupt on the top of a big zit. So you could call it pus. The more bacteria, inflammation, and infection, the higher the somatic cell count. And when a dairy cow is finally too physically and emotionally exhausted to continue on, she collapses. These cows are called downers, and they are dragged out by whatever means to be killed and sold for beef. It's common in the industry, even on organic dairy farms, for cows to go down after about 4 or 5 years of continuous milk production. But peak milk production declines around 4 to 5 years anyways, so if the dairy cows are still standing, they're gonna be killed for hamburgers and beef regardless. You see, the dairy industry is the meat industry. Almost every single dairy cow that you will ever buy milk that came from ends up being killed for meat. So if you're vegetarian, you might want to think about this, because at least when you're being raised for meat, you're just raised for meat and killed. But when you're a dairy cow, you are sexually exploited and emotionally and physically exhausted until you can't take it anymore, and then you're killed for meat. Sounds worse to me. And the natural lifespan of a cow that hasn't been completely exploited? 20 to 25 years, y'all. And as far as the calcium and protein thing goes, study after study after study has shown that those consuming the highest quantities of dairy actually have the highest cases of bone fracture and osteoporosis. And there are dozens of amazing plant-based sources of calcium and protein, so you really don't need to suck the tits of a cow. I mean, the dairy industry has wormed their way into education systems, nutritional programs, and media to convince us that we need to drink milk. But when you're in school learning about how good milk is for you, that's not because there was a panel of people who care about your health that determined that. That's because the dairy industry paid lots of money for you and your children to hear that message in school, and on TV, and on billboards, and magazines, and for your doctors who don't have to take more than a few hours of a nutrition course to tell you to drink your milk. You see, rhino milk is for baby rhinos. Dog's milk is for baby dogs. Cat's milk for baby cats. Rat milk is for baby rats. And cow's milk is for humans? No, it's for baby cows. And vegans are crazy? Dairy is fucking scary.
I know it's hard to watch it.
Try almond milk, hemp milk, soy milk, flax milk, rice milk, Brazil nut milk, macadamia nut milk, cashew milk, any milk but dairy milk.
This is standard agricultural practice in most countries.
Why in the Hindi culture they're allowed not to eat beef, right?
Not to eat anything.
Not to eat, but you can have cheese.
Animal product means the milk product you can have it in India.
Right. So where does
So-
it come from?
yeah, so-
why not the meat, but you can't have the dairy?
I have seen the dairy in India is not like this, for sure. This is really very cruel.
The actual traditional way was when cows naturally got pregnant because they would go out and mate with the males in the wild. Yeah, that was a long time ago, but now that we don't live in that time anymore, so we exactly do contribute to this practice in every place. Even the traditional way now has been altered to use artificial insemination on small farms too. And how can we even know that it's not done like this anymore? We cannot. You go to a grocery store and you cannot know. I can actually show you footage from India, dairy in India, which looks exactly like that.
The become commercial more.
When you think of it, when you take a different perspective and look back, do you think it's kind of weird that we drink the milk from a cow, another species,
That too as
when we're
adults.
adults? Don't you think that's weird? You stopped breastfeeding from your mother when you were like 1 year old, 1.5 years old, but you still drink cow's milk. I did too, until I was 33 years old. Don't you think it's a bit weird that we do that?
Stop doing this.
That's
because,
amazing.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And no more paneer. No more milk.
Yeah.
If you're interested in needing help to get rid of dairy in your diet, then there's
But I think so.
called Challenge 22. There's a personal mentoring. You don't have to pay anything, it's all free. So that might be helpful.
Good to know these things that we
Yeah.
should not support these things for sure.
I think you've had such an open mind, and thank you so much for having this conversation with
Thank
us
you
and
so much
being
for the
prepared to be open to this message. Wish there were lots of more people that were prepared to engage in this topic. So thank you so much, right?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.